Greetings everyone and welcome to Collector Corps. Today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends series Build-A-Figure, Marvel's Armadillo, Spider-Man, Marvel's Shriek. Okay, that's a mouthful, but yeah, this is a figure that I've been very excited for since they announced it. I'm a huge fan of basically anything relating to symbiotes, and obviously with Shriek essentially being Carnage's girlfriend, she's a very much needed character for the shelf. So yeah, let's just open her up and yeah, see what she's about. Before I actually open her up though, I just want to say something that kind of bugged me. The fact that obviously, you know, Shriek is in a classic look of black and white with a little bit of blue for the eye. Why is the art actually just Mystique? Like, I'm not seeing things, am I? That is just Mystique with a diamond on her eye. Blue skin, red hair. That's Raven. Like, I don't know. It's been bugging me since I first saw the package shots. Like, the fact that the art just doesn't look like Shriek. It honestly, to me, it just looks like Mystique. I can't get over it. But yeah, that's not an issue with the figure. That's just something that I'm just a bit confused about. But yeah, let's open it up and yeah, we'll get into the figure. And getting Shriek out of the packaging, she is a little bit boring, admittedly. She's a very basic design, but that is accurate, and quite honestly, I do think they captured the look from the comics very, very well. So she is on a very basic female body, which we've seen plenty of times before. I don't know specifically what characters or anything like that, but it is a very common body. I'm sure if I dug through my other figures, I could easily find something that uses a very similar, if not the same body setup as this. When it comes to overall design, obviously it's newer arms, which is very nice to see with pins. The legs as well are pinless, and otherwise it's very crisp printing all over for the white. The head is also, I believe it's actually moulded in white with the black printing, but once again, very clean. I do like it. The blue on the eye, very, very well done. I do really like that. The hair, very well moulded. It's not necessarily the most, you know, interesting hair mould, but at least it's detailed. You know, there's actually a lot of nice texturing there. It just looks very good overall. The little belt is very nicely designed. I'm not huge on how it's just dangly, but I'd rather it be like that so I can just glue it down at a later date, rather than it be glued down from the box and then not be ideal. Little bracelet, pretty nicely done. I don't think that's necessarily a loose piece, though we'll check when I actually take the hands off to swap out the hands. Detailing on the back of the hand. It isn't perfect. It's probably the worst printing or painting or whatever you want to call it on the entire figure. But overall, it's not an issue. The peg is actually black, so that kind of looks weird on the inside of the hand, but all in all, not terrible. And then from basically the waist down, it's just plain black. There's nothing there, which is perfectly fine. I like the feet. They're not overly, you know, cartoony. They're not overly long. Pretty normal feet, but yeah, skin tight suit with a bit of white on it. It's nothing too extravagant, but it is very, very accurate. Going over articulation, starting at the head, we do have a ball and hinge going into the head, which doesn't really allow for up, mostly because of the hair, but when it comes to down, you can get pretty down. I think you can fully bury the chest. I'm just not wanting to bend I'm not wanting to bend it too much. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm tripping over my words. But yeah, overall, that's perfectly fine. It does mess up with the hair a little bit, and the fact that you can't look up without also bending the body isn't ideal, but still. Speaking of the body, we do have the good old-fashioned dumbbell joint, allowing for hula looping action. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately, even though it would have been hidden by the belt. It's alright, I'm fine with it. It's a female body, what do you expect? At the arm, we have swivel all the way around. We have over 90. That's really good range, actually. That's surprising. We have swivel at the bicep. Very good to see. It's kind of rotating with the ball there. Very nice. Double elbow, pinless. Can I do it? There we go. And that goes, well, way past 90. That's actually really good. That actually can get some really good posing, actually. Just like that, I've got a nice pose there. And then side-to-side hinge for the hands, which I'm just going to quickly check. Side-to-side and side-to-side. So yeah, none of them are trigger fingers, so none of them are for guns. These are like actual grip hands, so you'd expect them to have some sort of up and down for like a melee weapon. It's not the end of the world. I'm perfectly happy with this. She doesn't come with any weapon accessories, so that's fine. And the leg we have out, better than a lot of Spider-Man. We have forward, and back is blocked a little bit by her butt sculpt, but yeah, it's okay. You got thigh swivel, double knee, once again pinless, and oh, it's a bit tight, but yeah, that goes most of the way. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's perfectly good for me. And then nothing at the ankle, unfortunately, but we do have forward, very tight on the ankle, back, and forward facing pin for rocker. So overall, pretty standard articulation for a female figure. I love the pinless joints being double elbows and stuff. When it comes to standing though, you kind of saw it earlier. I've managed to stand her up now, but the fact that her feet are so small and the detents in her feet are so tight, it's kind of difficult to find the perfect position for her to actually stand up. It is doable, as I've just shown here. It just, initially, setting her up for the first shot was a little bit time consuming. It's not ideal. For accessories, Shriek comes with open, generic magic power wielding hands. Doesn't really fit the character, but I mean, we get them with every female character at this point. We have gripping hands, which are obviously for some sort of like bat or pole or something to that effect. And finally, we have fists, which I do think probably make the most sense to have on her in a neutral stance, but still, it's nice to have options. I also will say that I did figure out that the bracelet is actually a separate piece. It does come off. It is, I think, glued in place slightly from the start, but yeah, there's no visible glue residue from breaking it off, so you can move that if you want. You can move it up the arm, you move it down the ankle, you can move it down the wrist, should I say, or whatever you want. So just bear in mind that is a separate piece. Try not to lose it if you're taking off the hands. This is also a separate piece, but it's a bit harder to take off. But yeah, that's the accessories, and that kind of brings on a pretty major flaw in this figure to me. No shrieking head, no power using head, anything like that. Her name is Shriek. Her power is to basically be a banshee, or a siren, I suppose is probably more accurate. She doesn't have a way of showing that power, and I think that's a real shame, especially when this is, to my knowledge, our first Shriek figure in Marvel Legends. It's kind of disappointing that all we get are a few different fists. I would have loved to maybe swap out, maybe even all sets of hands. Like, just only have one set of hands, get rid of all the spares, and just have an alternate head with a screaming expression at the very least, and something akin to what we get with a lot of the Cyclops figures with, a screaming head that you can then add an effect to. That would have been really cool. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. I don't really mention them anymore, but we do get the torso for, what's this one now? Armadillo. So yeah, it is in two parts. The back piece is actually in a different tray. I'm not getting the rest of this wave. I might get J. Jonah, but that's really it. So this is probably going to become fodder for making a rhino. I'm going to be completely honest, take off that bit and paint it grey, I suppose. For comparisons, we have the Venom Pool Wave movie Venom figure, which is a very, very cool figure, one of my favourites. And then from that same wave, the Carnage, which obviously works very well. I really like the heights here. This is pretty much my ideal, but we'll also look at some other Venoms that I just happen to have. And so we have the Marvel Select Venom. I think this is the second release, the one that doesn't have 3 heads, but has the massive tentacle thing that comes off him. I think that's the distinction. There's a few different versions of this. I can't remember them all. And then the Hasbro PulseCon exclusive Spider-Man the Animated Series Venom, which, yeah, I think these all work very well. If you're wanting, like, a really, like, comic-accurate version of Absolute Carnage, that works pretty well for me. Those sizes are all kind of perfect. She's slightly shorter than Cassidy. Cassidy is a decent amount shorter than Venom. It all works out pretty well for me. If you're wanting something more movie accurate, I would suggest getting Crow and repainting it to be Carnage, and then just using the good old-fashioned movie Venom that I just showed. But yeah, that is the Marvel comparisons. I'm going to quickly just bring these out of the way, and we'll do the final comparison. That's happened every time I've moved figures. I wanted to catch you on camera, that's why I did it a bit differently to usual. She falls over very easily. So finally, as always, we have the Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper, Battle Damaged, First Edition. I will be changing to the second design, the newer design, very quickly, because I do have it coming soon, so reviews in the future will have the newer design, but yeah, probably the last time we're going to see him. And the Jazzwares Fortnite Fish Stick, which will probably also be replaced pretty soon by one of the Hasbro Fortnite figures. So there we go. This might be the end of the original Stormtrooper and the Jazzwares fish stick just for reviews. But yeah, once again, as I always say, a little short for a Stormtrooper. Perfect if you're wanting to, for some reason, put Shriek into a Fortnite display or something. Don't know why you would, but in case you are, there you go, that's an option. And on that note is going to be it for this review. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new here, and ring that bell. I really like this figure, and you know, I have my problems, especially with the fact she doesn't have any way of showing her powers, but the overall design, the look, the actual detailing is so well done. It's so accurate, and I can't really complain in that regard. But that is going to be it. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time, and yeah, bye!